and Shams try to one up him and get more detailed about it. They be low key
Yeah.
battling with each other. It's kind of funny. But Kyrie Irving, basically is set to return. So it's pretty exciting for the NBA. We've all missed brother Kai.
Brother
But
Kai.
it's just interesting because when I first heard this news before, I think Shams broke the news first. So when I first heard the news, there wasn't any specifications. I remember texting you right away. I'm just like, so does this mean like he's vaccinated or he's only gonna play away games? Like, because the mandate hasn't changed in New York. So like, what's going on? So then Woj came out and said, oh, he's only gonna play away games, and basically his stance on being vaccinated is still a hard no as well too. So I was just like, if you were initially going to do this from the jump, or at least entertain the idea, why don't you just start that as well too? I mean, obviously, you got to take into consideration one of those things when you're not when you're like necessarily in your head, but when you make a decision, you can't like stray away from it as well too. So when someone says, "Yo, I'm going to do this," you just got to stick to your guns. So I think it's a little bit about that, but I also think two reasons. One, with all these COVID cases going around as well too, we'll talk about Christmas a little later. Christmas is the day for the NBA. This is when most honestly fans really start to tune in at Christmas time as well too. So it makes sense for Kyrie to come back because that will be a away game, a road game against the Lakers right now. So that just makes the most sense. All eyes on Kyrie's been the topic of discussion. Media is gonna go crazy. Social media is gonna go crazy. That makes sense. But two, like we just said, with these COVID cases, like bodies are just dropping left and right. So it just makes sense to have Kyrie come back to the team as well too. And then obviously with KD, he's 2 years removed from Achilles, or not even almost 2 years removed from Achilles. And with James Harden not playing the way he's normally playing, and him going to COVID protocol, obviously the whole team is basically on COVID protocol. And like you said, we have this new thing set into place where G League players are coming up. KD can't really do this by himself. I mean, he can carry a team, but we know like when you constantly are carrying a team in the regular season, you're going to be gassed by the playoffs as well too. So it makes sense for Kyrie to come back. Is he going to be rusty or not? I don't really know, but I think he's one of those type of players where he's just going to get into the swing of things like this. Kind of like how we saw KD come back effortlessly last season when it was preseason. We're like, oh, you only need to play 1 or 2 games. Like, you're good. I think Kyrie's like that as well too. He hasn't had no injuries, and he's probably just been at a private facility, just trying to, continue to work on his game as well too. But my question for you is, I guess with Kyrie Irving, what do you expect coming from Kyrie when he comes back? One, and then two, I mean, do you think it's bad for the team chemistry because that's not really consistent if you can't string along games, if it's going to be back and forth, the home and away? What are your thoughts on all that?
First of all, Kyrie Irving come back, he not gonna lose them handles. That's the one thing we know about Kyrie. If you think he's sweet, he gonna shake your boots off and he gonna wear them when the game ends. Kyrie, the only thing he got to worry about is his jump shot, the efficiency, but the net's so stacked. If Kyrie comes back and then KD and Harden are there, he doesn't have to do it all. You know what I'm saying? He might come back with some G League players, and he's not gonna pass the rod to them. He's not gonna pass the rod. So he might get up like 30 shots. He might put up 50 on first night, but you gotta worry about him in the long run. When them boys get back, he gonna turn up with them. So that's my answer. Yeah.
and what's funny about this whole situation is like obviously there's a small percentage of players who are very like anti-vax, or they're not anti-vax, like they believe in the vaccine, but just not for them and their, I guess, their family. So obviously like Jonathan Isaac, Andrew Wiggins at first, and then most notably Bradley Beal as well too, and obviously Kyrie. I haven't heard any COVID protocols with Bradley Beal since season started. Maybe I have, maybe you have. I don't recollect that, but it's just kind of crazy how once this news comes out with Kyrie, the irony that he's in he's in protocols. I'm just like, damn, NBA messed up with this one on Christmas Day. God. We are definitely not seeing Kyrie. It sounded good, but we'll see. But as far as chemistry goes, it's just like, I mean, you playing with, like, Katie's playing with G League players, right? He's winning with G League players. He's winning with people in and out the lineup. So, I mean, it could mess up the chemistry a little bit, but at this point, I think it's going to work. For Katie to play with all this BS that's been happening within this organization and still be the number one seed in the East, adding Kyrie back is only a plus for me, honestly. And I'm also curious as well, too. I just had this epiphany. Do you think how the league is structured, because there's two things that can happen, right? One, they continue to have the first seed, and Kyrie's like, all right, yo, like, I can't play road games, man. I mean, I can only play road games. This is the playoffs. Home court matters. Am I gonna, toughen it up and get the vaccine? Or two, what if it's really close between like the 1 and 4 seed? Do you see Brooklyn kind of, in a sense, trying to have, instead of home court advantage, away advantage, where he can play 4 games if need be? Do you see something like that happening?
I didn't even think about it. Okay. Nah, if that's the case, and they probably been thinking about this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie has probably been in the studio and making the blueprints, like, yo, don't worry about it. Y'all go ahead, stack them wins. And when I come back and we get these away games, we're gonna lose some games because COVID protocols right now. We're gonna drop down to like the 4th seed, maybe hype up the Bucks, hype up the Cavs, and then playoffs come. Kyrie in them away games, we go stupid. I see how you think, Sewell. That was real smart. I like that.
You never know. You never know, man. But no, on a serious note, I'm happy we're going to get to see Kyrie come back, whether that be towards the end of the month, whether that be early January. I know all eyes are going to be on Kyrie, and hopefully they do one of those things where it's like how I think for the part 2, the Warriors and Suns game, how they essentially push that into TNT instead of another game. They should do that when Kyrie comes back as well, too. And I'm not even really excited. I mean, obviously I'm excited. He's one of my favorite players to watch, so I'm excited to see him touch the floor. But I'm more curious about the Nets media and the questions that they're going to ask him and the half-ass answers. If he gives a half-ass answer, just say next question. I'm curious to see how that's all going to pan out. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But Kyrie, we're happy for you to be back as well, too. You're only going to do great things.